because you get that once a week to try to get some work done. And plus, when you got to be a pretty good pitching staff if you're going to play a 3-game series and cover the innings for both teams. So it unveils all of your depth, but this is what we're supposed to be doing, is taking a look at every pitcher that we have and giving every one of those guys an opportunity to show us what they got.
I know y'all set a script, but at the same time you leave yourself a lot of leeways in how these scrimmage games develop too, and you may see something, you may not see something, you may change your plans.
Yeah. The other thing you're doing is you're still trying to play it like a ball game. Every one of our new guys that have pitched, it's their first time to come out of a bullpen. They've all been a starter where they're from. So there's some things going on behind the scenes that you don't even see in a ball game.
Right.
The efficiency, what you learn now, you don't take 70 pitches to get loose. Now you got to get ready in 10 or 12 pitches, and you're rushed. And just that whole process of coming in the middle of an inning, like you're coming in for the next batter, but then you don't come in for the next inning or 2 innings, or you don't even get to pitch that day. Those are all lessons you want to learn in October. You don't want the first time to learn that lesson to be in March.
For instance, we'll see, Jacob went out there, threw 2 pitches, and his day was done. It looked like you wanted a specific left-on-left matchup with him.
I did. Before we even started today, you're going to get the one moment with one important left-hander, and boy, he come in and threw 2 pitches. I think he got a ground ball right back to him. That was his job. That was his mission today. And I like how we can set that up before the day ever starts, and he can accomplish his mission, not throw too many pitches, throws twice in a weekend, and feels good about himself leaving out of here.
You're being gradual and getting Bracewell in specific times there, just kind of bring him in slowly.
Yeah, and again, Bracewell has thrown I think 4 outings and had 2 outings each weekend, and I just like it. He had a good breaking ball today, won his moment, and so even when runs are scored, because I'm rooting for our hitters too. It's crazy. We're on the same team. The other thing where I think iron sharpens iron is, Dakota Hudson has his 3rd outing today. I think our hitters are starting to know who he is, which is going to put more emphasis for him on execution, which is only going to make him better. So these guys kind of know we all know what each other has. Now it becomes down to the Mariano Rivera effect. He's going to throw that cutter, but what are you going to do with it? It's all about his execution and things of that nature. So Dakota has a chance to really get better if he has a couple more outings now, because everybody knows who he is, and now it's about his execution. And Derek Armstrong, I just tipped my hat. He started the game off today against Dakota, where I think he got a walk, stole second base, eventually stole 3rd, and I think he was trying to steal home. And those are the things that are going to make Dakota better, because I thought Derek threw the first punch today instead of Dakota throwing the first punch. So I really tip my hat to Derek, how he come out and started the game. That's going to make Dakota better.
3 weekends into this now, just kind of a general overview of where you feel about the pitching staff.
Not even close to where we need to be a top-level pitching staff. I don't say that as a negative. I say it as a positive. You got so many guys that are their first year. And then I don't believe in the Fall American thing either. I have so many guys that throw great in the fall, and that doesn't translate in the spring. So we're in a process of trying to get better every day. There's so many things we need to improve on. My job is to not sit here and say, hey, we're going to be good again. Our job is we got to get better every day to be as competitive as we possibly can be in the spring, and we're right in the middle of the trenches of that. So, I can't just wake up in February and say, hey, let's go play a season and pick up where we left off last year. It just doesn't work that way. I wish it would. But we've got to go back, and everybody needs to try to get 5-10% better. Ross Mitchell's back throwing. We got Avery Geyer, his first outing of his career today. There's so many positives coming out, but I got to keep tapping him on the shoulder and say, hey, Jonathan, if you're not getting that curveball for a strike, that don't mean you can just go get fastball and let them take a good rip at it. We all got to get better. Jonathan has to continue to try to get better than he was last year. Jacob Lindgren is throwing the ball great, but he's got to keep finding something every day that makes him a better pitcher. We can't give these days away because we're about to have a Thanksgiving, exams, a Christmas holiday, so we're trying to capture these 5 weeks to grow as much as we possibly can, and then another phase there in January, February leading to the season. So we don't want to give a pitch or a day away this time of year.
Has anything just really jumped out and impressed you so far?
We've got to let our defense play. As good as I thought our defense was last year, and we turned 151 double plays the last 2 years, which probably leads planet Earth, except for professional baseball. I want us to trust that defense so much.
I heard Coach Cohen saying pitch to contact, pitch to contact.
You know, you just get to the point where you feel so good about yourself defensively and you believe in those guys so much. I just want to see, it seems like we give so many pitches away and we're sitting there watching a pitcher instead of letting our defense work. That kind of seems to be the theme this weekend. If I circle back around and talk to the pitchers, trust this great defense. We're blessed with it. We've built it. Those guys can make great plays, and we need to trust in the fact of that a little bit more.
You mentioned Ross is about getting some tossing in now. Is anybody else kind of shaky health or getting back to where you said? Because I know Woodruff has had 2 really good pre-scrimmage outings so far.
Yeah, and I think he's ready. So if Dr. Linton will allow it, we're going to call and beg him and hopefully get Brandon into a squad game, you know, as soon as maybe next Friday or Saturday. So I'll be excited for that. We've taken our time. Brandon's worked really hard. He's went step by step by step of what Jason Wire, our trainer, and Dr. Linton has prescribed. So I think he's chomping at the bits to get out there, and that's why I feel good about him going ahead and starting to pitch, because he wants it. And our catchers, you know, we want our catchers to keep growing. You know, Oamo, Slaughter, they did such a great job for us. Big Pen before that, who's on our staff now and helping me in the bullpen, and my communicator down there. Those guys just keep growing. We got Gavin Collins back this weekend. How positive is that to see him? He had a home run today off Dakota. Dakota hadn't given up a run this fall, you know, for him to have to dust off and get back in there and keep competing. And how quiet and how good he received and blocked the ball. Getting Gavin back was really positive.
And that last thing, now that you've got these 3 weekends in and you're about probably halfway through, fixing to hit the stretch now, do you structure anything differently pitching-wise in the coming weekends, or do you start looking for roles, or you just keep doing what you've been doing?
I think that's what Coach Cohen's done a good job of. I think we're doing the roles before they're really in them. So we've been playing guys in different roles. That was a role for Jacob today. That was a different role where Jonathan pitched, where he's down 4 today. Sometimes, you know, his challenge is to be mentally in tune in all the different roles. We threw Jonathan 50 pitches Thursday to try to stretch him out and get 2 or 3 innings, like we had to start doing Texas A&M, which was a turning point in our season last year. So I think we're doing the roles great. The problem is with the number of pitchers, you never pitch that many in a season. So I'm trying to get the guys that have got a lot of innings always since January to get them in games and keep getting them a feel. But we got some young guys that need more innings. That's why you're seeing so many of the freshmen start, is they're the ones that are getting the 66, 70 pitches now. So we'll keep building pitch count with the starters. We'll keep trying to develop roles, and we actually made the roles up before they actually settle in. But I think that's going to be more of a target for January, February, where it has to be that specific.
Coach, what does it say about Hudson's maturity to have the bases loaded against a bunch of veteran players and not give up a run in the first, then give up the solo in the second, and then the rest of that inning not give up a run?
Yeah, Kyle, that's unbelievable. In the first inning, I decided not to visit on purpose. You know, a lot of times we're flying out there and overcoaching a lot in the fall, and the catchers are running to the mound. But I kind of wanted to see what Dakota would do there, and I thought he kept competing. We actually saw elevation and spike in his stuff. So from a velocity standpoint, from just sheer stuff, it got better. Whenever you got a pitcher that's backs against the wall and you feel like that he can go get another gear, boy, Coach loves to see that. And I thought we saw that in the first. And then after the home run, I thought he just steadied himself. He's had really good, steady composure, and I hadn't seen him get off center. I don't want to see him fail, but I like to see him experience adversity. And I thought, maybe for me, all in all, this may have been my favorite outing of Dakota, because I saw him have to compete against adversity. His first 2 outings have been pretty easy, mindless, easy sailing, and you want that for them, but you really want to see how they respond to adversity, and I thought Dakota answered the bell on that today.
What impressed you about Avery Geyer's debut? He was an All-American. He was Class 4A Pitcher of the Year in Florida. He was a national champion in high school. He comes out here in his public duty noble debut. What did you see that you liked, and what do you think he has to improve upon this fall?
I just know he's behind, so he's playing a little catch-up. We'll keep trying to force him. We'll have to see tomorrow. Anytime you're coming back from an ankle, you know, it's that next day that you have to evaluate. So, but he looked fine. You know, he's just now starting to push back off the mound, and the biggest thing I was happy about is he wanted to get on the mound. He wanted to get his first inning under his belt. He went like 1-0, 2-0 to the batters, but just didn't give in and poured it back in the strike zone. I thought for the first time, and how long he's been dealing with this ankle, that you know, it's just exciting to see another guy out there getting in the mix.